He was an honest police officer with a happy family.
Not again, not again. I have to work a double. You gotta figure it out.
But one day he sees drug shipment of the most notorious drug lord who brutally attacked his family. This despicable act forced him to take the most brutal revenge in human history. Welcome back to Paramount Recaps. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. We kick things off in the glitzy streets of Las Vegas with a high-speed car chase that has you gripping your seat. Some masked dudes are tailing a car, and they're not messing around. They ram the car into a pole, and before you know it, two guys jump out, guns ready, demanding the trunk be popped open. But just as they think they've got the upper hand, another car pulls up and a full-on shootout erupts. One of the masked men reveals himself as Sean, and after some intense gunfire, the bad guys start closing in. With sirens wailing in the distance, everyone bolts, hopping into their cars and speeding off. Vincent, one of our main guys, and his partner Sean eventually get away. They crack open a duffel bag and find a whopping 25 kilos of coke, worth a cool $8 million. Not a bad haul, right? After that, Vincent heads home, and we learn that he's a cop when he gets a call to take his son to game. Oh, and he's got a conspiracy board plastered with names, so you know this guy's up to something big. The next day, we meet Bryant, who works for Internal Affairs. She's been through the ringer, walking into a meth lab and getting beat up for her troubles. She's got a hunch that a dirty cop is involved, and things get even more suspicious when she hears that government-issued bullets were found at a crime scene. Meanwhile, Vincent strolls into the station, where the captain is briefing everyone about the previous night's shootout. Vincent and Sean volunteer to take the case, and Vincent slyly tells Sean that whoever controls the case controls the evidence. Shady much? When the duo arrives at the crime scene, Brian approaches Vincent, introducing herself and immediately questioning his involvement. Vincent plays it cool, lies straight to her face, and walks off, leaving Brian suspicious. She shares her doubts with her partner Dennison, sensing that something's not right with Vincent. Meanwhile, Vincent heads to the hospital to see his ex-wife, who's clearly fed up with his constant tardiness. Despite the tension, he takes his son, Thomas, to his game. On the way, we catch a glimpse of some serious family drama. His ex-wife's new boyfriend is moving in, and things are clearly complicated. But the drama doesn't stop there. As they park, Thomas finds a gun in the glove compartment and starts playing with it, which leads to a terrifying moment when some thugs kidnap him and stab Vincent. Helpless, Vincent receives a call from a guy named Rubino, who demands his 25 kilos of coke back, warning that if Vincent doesn't deliver in 3 hours, his son will be the substitute. Vincent, not wasting a second, grabs his gun and heads out. Back at the precinct, Brian is digging up all the dirt she can on Vincent without getting official approval. Meanwhile, Vincent sneaks into a bathroom to patch up his stab wound using whatever he can find. Sean walks in, and Vincent loses his cool, realizing they didn't just steal from Rubino, but also from a much bigger player, Novak. Sean tries to calm him down, promising they'll sort it out, but things are heating up fast. As night falls, we see a man hanging upside down, getting pelted with baseballs. Novak, the big boss, makes his entrance, pissed off because the DEA raided his stash house. He's forced to grab 25 kilos from the small-timer Rubino, and he's not happy about it. Meanwhile, Thomas is screaming for help, and Vincent is desperately trying to find him. Dina, Vincent's ex, calls, worried about their son, but Vincent lies, saying they had a fight and Thomas ran off. He's in deep, and the clock's ticking. Vincent heads to Rubino's skyscraper hideout, but little does he know, Bryant is tailing. He sneaks into the building, hiding the coke and his gun in the ceiling of a bathroom, but leaves 2 kilos in the bag as bait. Security catches on and escorts him to Rubino, while Bryant finds the stash in the bathroom. As Vincent is being searched, Rubino brings in Thomas, threatening Vincent that if Novak finds out what's happened, they're all dead. He gives Vincent 10 minutes to fetch the rest of the drugs. Bryant, meanwhile, grabs the duffel bag and calls Dennison, spilling the beans on what she's found. But before they can meet up, Novak arrives, catching everyone off guard. Rubino sends Vincent to get the bag, but Brian is already taken. Rubino tries to stall Novak, who's getting increasingly pissed off. Vincent spots Bryant and tries to get to her, but she's already hidden the drugs in a locker. Rubino's security team is on high alert, but Vincent isn't easy to catch. Bryant calls Vincent, taunting him, but he's not in the mood for games and hangs up. He then improvises by wrapping some sugar in a bag, hoping to pass it off as coke, and heads to a bar, ordering the bartender to deliver the best bottle they've got to Rubino's room. When Vincent finally arrives at Rubino's office, tensions are through the roof. Novak is losing his patience, swinging a golf club around as he talks about his powerful father. He's done with the games and wants his drugs now. Bryant meets up with Dennison, revealing that there are some big-name players in the building tonight. Dennison wants to get a judge involved, but Bryant is eager to take down Novak and Vincent herself. But Vincent's not going down without a fight, and as the bartender knocks on the door, you know things are about to explode. Rubino, thinking it's the cops, reveals a hidden exit to Novak so he can make a quick escape. He then tells Vincent that his son is waiting for him in front. Novak hops into his car, ready to make a clean getaway, but when he checks the package, he finds out it's just sugar. Furious, he's ready to kill. Meanwhile, Vincent grabs his son and quickly tries to get out of it. Novak, steaming with rage, marches back inside and threatens to kill Rubino. But Rubino pleads for more time, promising to fix the mess. He updates the security team on what just happened, and they rush to catch up with Vincent and Thomas. As the duo heads toward the stairs, Thomas demands to know what's going on. Vincent finally admits that he's been working undercover for 2 years, a secret he's kept from everyone. Just as he's explaining, the security team races after them. Vincent, still wounded, isn't at his best, but he pushes through and starts fighting back. Despite his injuries, he manages to take down his attacker, though it's not easy. As he escapes, Novak gets a call from his father, who's not pleased. He gives Novak 4 hours to get the 25 kilos back, or he's coming back from vacation to take matters into his own hands. Panicked, Novak orders every cop on his payroll to join the search. While all this is happening, one of Rubino's security guards grabs Thomas and takes off with Rubino reports this to Novak, and the two have a tense conversation. Novak hands Rubino a box, and when Rubino opens it, he nearly throws up. Inside is a body part. Novak gives him 1 hour to get things sorted. At the same time, Vincent talks to Sean, updating him on the dire situation. Vincent then swipes an ID to continue his search for his son. Meanwhile, Bryant and Dennison have scoured the entire building but haven't found anyone. Dennison starts to think they've gone too far and suggests they turn the evidence over and start an official investigation, and Bryant reluctantly agrees and heads toward the escalators. When the elevator doors open, Bryant sees Vincent inside. She watches the floor number and chases after, but he takes the stairs. Unfortunately, Vincent's phone rings, giving away his location. Bryant tracks him to the 26th floor, where a confrontation ensues. She corners Vincent and holds him at gunpoint, but Vincent fights back, and both end up injured. Despite this, Vincent manages to get Bryant in an arm lock and starts explaining that he's an undercover cop. Bryant isn't buying it, even when he mentions her botched drug bust and reveals that Sean is working as a courier for Novak. Still suspicious, she demands to know where she hid his bag before he leaves. As Vincent rushes off to retrieve it, Bryant is left fuming, still cursing under her breath. Meanwhile, Thomas is introduced to a man who doesn't exactly treat him kindly. He smashes a fire extinguisher on the kid's fingers. But Thomas, tough as nails, notices the door open and makes a run for it, even managing to find a phone along the way. Bryant, still on the case, calls Dennison to update him. Vincent, now on a mission, shows his badge to get access to the locker, only to find it empty. Just then, Dennison appears, gun drawn, ready to arrest Vincent. They end up in a brutal fight, eventually falling into a pool. Vincent knocks Dennison out, but goes back to save him from drowning. Thomas calls Vincent, who reassures him that he's on the way, but Rubino, watching all this, has something else planned. Vincent instructs Sean to meet him in the garage. When they get there, Sean says his gear is in the car, but as Vincent turns around, Sean pulls a gun on him. Realizing Vincent is a snitch, Sean decides to hold off on dealing with him until they save Thomas. Suddenly, a gunman appears and 2 shots are fired, one killing the gunman and the other hitting Sean. Dina, Vincent's ex, calls in a panic, asking where their son is. Vincent, trying to calm her down, says everything he's done is for her and Thomas, and he'll protect them no matter what. But he stops in his tracks when he finds out Sean has been in contact with Dennison. Vincent listens to a voicemail revealing that Dennison has the cocaine and is about to destroy their entire operation. Meanwhile, Dennison stumbles upon Sean's body and the security guard. But while Brian inspects the guard, Dennison sees Sean is still alive and decides to finish him off. He then orders Brian to wait for backup as he goes to find Vincent, leaving her confused. Dennison meets up with Novak, who's furious. They threaten each other, but Novak lets him go for now. Novak then teams up with Rubino, aiming a gun at him. Vincent arrives, spotting Thomas, but before he can reach him, a fight breaks out. Rubino is knocked unconscious and dragged away as the brawl intensifies. Vincent finally takes out the security guard who's been after him. Novak, seeing this, starts shooting at Vincent but misses. Vincent makes a daring move, hijacking a car on display and speeding through the building to escape. As Rubino is arrested by Bryant, Vincent heads to the garage, ramming through the gate in a stolen car. Novak's men try to trap him, but Vincent is always one step ahead. He hands the wheel over to Thomas, who drives while Vincent jumps into the enemy's vehicle, taking out the driver and another thug. But he's not done yet. He also deals with the car chasing Novak, determined to finish finish this, arrives at the garage, tossing smoke bombs everywhere, turning the place into a foggy war zone. Dina also arrives, frantically searching for Thomas, who's hiding under a car. Novak stalks through the smoke, firing shots, while Dina moves cautiously, gun drawn. Inside the smoke, the enemies circle each other, and just as Novak's guard spots Thomas, Vincent jumps in, triggering another brutal fight. Vincent takes a beating and is nearly choked out, but Thomas, showing real bravery, hijacks a truck and uses it to his advantage. Dina arrives just in time to kill another guard, and the family hides behind cars as Novak demands a stash. Vincent, realizing there's no other way, surrenders himself and faces Novak. Vincent claims he knows where the drugs are, but Novak has had enough and opens fire. Vincent and Dina both retaliate, and Novak ends up as a lifeless corpse. Rubino is taken away by the cops, and Dina and Thomas desperately try to stop Vincent. Vincent asks Thomas to play the last voicemail on his phone, which reveals Dennison's confession. Bryant, hearing this, slowly turns to confront Dennison, but he stops her by shooting her in the chest. Rubino, thinking he's safe, relaxes, but Dennison quickly betrays him, shooting him as well. The cop driving the car is helpless as Dennison shoots him too, causing the car to crash. Despite the chaos, the other officers help Dennison up, and he spins a tale about Rubino going crazy and grabbing a gun. But just as he thinks he's in the clear, the car door opens, and Bryant crawls out, ordering Dennison's arrest. She's rushed to an ambulance, and Vincent is taken into surgery. The next morning, Vincent wakes up, thankful to be alive. Bryant walks into his room, and they share a moment of relief, even managing a laugh before she leaves. Meanwhile, at the crime scene, Novak's father calls, only to be answered by 3 DA agents who address him as boss. And with that, the movie ends.